Welcome to Inside Athletic Training, a podcast from the Professional Baseball Athletic Trainers Society, where Major League and Minor League athletic trainers share insight into athletic training at the highest level. This week on Inside Athletic Training, we welcome in Brandon Henry, the head athletic trainer for the Boston Red Sox. Enjoy the show. All right, Brandon, welcome to Inside Athletic Training. We're super happy to have you on for our 28th episode. You're currently in your first season as head athletic trainer after spending the previous 2 years as associate head athletic trainer with the Red Sox. You have more than a decade of experience in the Red Sox organization. We'll get into all that good stuff in a minute here, but before we get started, I wanted to share with the listeners a bit more about you. So if you can, tell the listeners a bit about your background, stuff like where you're from. Were you an athlete growing up, and also where you found your passion for athletic training and sports medicine?
All right, great. Thanks, Sam, for having me. I really appreciate it. I also want to say thank you for doing this podcast. I think it's a great way to get an inside look of what our athletic trainers and professional baseball are all about. So I just want to say thank you for all your hard work on this podcast so far. Yeah, I'm grew up in Beckley, West Virginia, very small town. I don't think there's too many professional athletic trainers from West Virginia. Yeah, I was an athlete growing up. I played basketball. I ran track. Figured out pretty quickly that I wasn't going to be a collegiate athlete. But I really enjoyed sports. Something that's been a part of my life from a young age. And getting into athletic training, I want to say is actually by chance. I was a biology major when I entered undergrad, and really wasn't too interested in sitting in labs all day and looking through microscopes. So I had a friend who was in the athletic training program and knew I was interested in sports and said, hey, you should, come check this out. And I went and I kind of observed for a day. And next thing I know, I enrolled in a program and got out of doing biology, and probably one of the best decisions I've ever made.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's clear that education, is important to the athletic training field, but specifically you. And you mentioned you got into biology to start. I want to get in a bit more about your education. You graduated from Xavier University in 2004, got your master's degree from West Virginia in 2006. A lot of our guests have talked about how important their education was in terms of anatomy and just learning, how to be an athletic trainer at the very beginning stages. Was there a certain experience that you had during your education? Was it hands-on experience, learning from mentors or professors, or something else that you really gained a lot from while studying in college?
Yeah, I think, Xavier laid the foundation for me as an athletic trainer as far as the education and, side of it, anatomy. I think it was a great university to attend as far as the athletic training program. And, two of the people there, Dr. Tina Davlin, who's the program director currently, and while I was there, also had a great kind of a mold for me as athletic trainer as far as like the education side. And then, for a experience in clinical side, Dave Fluker, who's was the men's basketball athletic trainer while I was there, really helped guide me as an athletic trainer during my undergraduate experience. There's two people that really, laid the foundation for me. And I want to shout out those two people just because they mean a lot to me and kind of where I am now. And then, during my senior year of undergrad, I actually got to have my baseball clinical rotation with the Cincinnati Reds. So that was kind of my first introduction to professional baseball. And it was a great experience. And if it wasn't for Xavier, I probably wouldn't be in professional baseball.
And to add on to that, you mentioned your clinical rotation with the Reds. Was that kind of a program that the school had to allow you to gain experience with professional sports teams? Or how did that come about that you got such a great opportunity while in school?
So I was always interested in upper extremity. And then I did a clinical rotation with our college baseball team. And at the time, our program was seeking, to gain experience with, the Cincinnati Bengals and the Cincinnati Reds. And I was actually the first student to do a clinical rotation with the Reds. So a big shout out to Dr. Davlin for setting that up. And it was, something that they continue to this day, that they have those two clinical sites where you can gain some professional experience. I think is really key for students want to get into professional sports.
Yeah, that's definitely a huge plus of going to a great university, getting that experience. And we'll talk a bit more about experience out of college and advice for college students and things of that nature. But I want to get in a bit more about your experience in baseball. So you've served in the minor leagues for a number of years. You worked as an athletic training coordinator and many other important roles. Now, obviously, the head athletic trainer for the Red Sox. I know each step of the way, a lot of our guests say are extremely important to development as an athletic trainer, just learning skills, meeting people, working with players, getting that hands-on experience. But can you share with the listeners a bit about the path you took through the minor leagues and also what the minor league experience meant to you in your career development?
Yeah, that experience was huge. I started in rookie ball and worked my way all the way up to Double A and eventually as athletic training coordinator. And like you said, like each step along the way, you learn different experiences and you gain insight to what being an athletic trainer in baseball is. And it wasn't for those steps. Like I don't think I'd be the athletic trainer that I am today. Like it teaches you so much about how to handle yourself when different situations come up, what to do. And it also gives you your reps as far as like injuries that you see. You're able to recognize things more quickly because you have that experience. And it also allows you to build relationships with, coaching staff, players that are going to progress through the system just as you are. So I think that, it's so important to really understand what the minor league athletic trainer is and gain experience that way. And I also want to say that, during my time as athletic trainer, or the minor league athletic trainer, I cherish kind of each moment. I was, if I was in rookie ball, I was really focused on being in rookie ball. I never had a eye towards I need to get to Double A by this certain point. I was really in the moment, really present for each one of my stops, and really tried to be mindful and aware of if I do a good job here, the rest will take care of itself. I wasn't looking to jump levels. I figure if I do a good job, the rest will take care of itself.
That's a great answer. And that's something that we've talked with pretty much every one of our guests is staying present, being patient in the minor leagues. And I'm wondering, what do you credit for your ability to do that? I know a lot of people, probably myself included, you get in the minor leagues and you're looking for that next stop. How do I jump up to the next level? How do I, find my way to the big league? So what makes you able to kind of mentally, just comprehend that you need to stay present and patient in the moment in the minor leagues?
Well, I think just knowing that I'm still young as an athletic trainer, I have a lot to learn, and I really want to take advantage of each place that I'm at and really, set my focus to being here and being present in the moment. I also think that, the Red Sox as an organization really supported us as a medical staff, really see it as a competitive advantage in how, we develop our athlete trainers as far as education, experience, was really helpful, and it really led me to believe just because I was in a minor league, I always felt the connection to what our big league team was doing and what our big league athletic trainers were doing and some of the, the treatment techniques and things that they would see and they would share with us. So I think that always, it's in the minor leagues, but I never felt minor in a sense. I always felt, like I said, that there was this connection to our big league staff and what our big league team was doing. Even though I may be in Greenville, South Carolina, I still felt that connection to Boston.
Yeah, that's great. And that's something I want to talk to you about as well. To piggyback back off that answer, now that you're in a totally different position, very established, you're the head athletic trainer for the entire organization. How do you guys go about keeping that connection and making sure that your minor league athletic trainers feel the same way that you felt when you were coming up?
I think that's one of the special things about, being in Boston is that, most of our athletic trainers in the big leagues have pretty much we've grown up together. You talk about Masai Takahashi, Brad Pearson, John Yoakum. When I started in the minor leagues, they were in the minor leagues with me.
Yeah.
And so we've kind of, rose through the ranks together and, we cut our teeth in a minor league. And it's something that's special to each of our hearts is that, that we take care of what our minor league teams are doing and support them because we went through it and we understand how it is as a minor league athletic trainer. And we want to be able to support that because we felt that when we were coming up.
Yeah, that's great to have that camaraderie and, coming up with people and getting to the big leagues has to be even more fulfilling. And that's another interesting point there is, you guys in Boston, Brad, yourself, everybody there, super close and been together for a long time. There's obviously turnover in this business and in athletic training in all sports very frequently. So is there something you guys credit? Maybe it's Brad's leadership at the top or yours, something you credit to keeping the staff together and just building on that camaraderie?
Yeah, and I want to credit Brad. Brad is, a walking legend around Boston and in the athletic training community.
Mm-hmm.
He's done a tremendous job and is now, like I said, he's the vice president of sports medicine. And he's really done a good job of trying to make sure that we are, clinically at our best, that we continue to grow as clinicians, learn from each other. And my job now is just to make sure that I continue, the success that he built upon, and really, keep our staff together, make sure our culture is where it should be. But I like, it's a special place to work, but it's only special because of the people that we have.
And speaking of that learning process that you just mentioned, when you were coming up through the minor leagues or even in college, I know you mentioned a few previously, but were there any specific mentors that really had a huge impact on your career and kind of pushed you toward knowing that this is what you want to do with your life?
Yeah. And two people, and I really want to shout them out on this podcast, is Lonnie Soloff and Nick Kinney. Mm-hmm. So when I was in my, clinical rotation with the Cincinnati Reds, Lonnie and Nick were both there. And now, they've gone out and have great careers in professional baseball and are directors of, Lonnie with the Indians and Nick with the Royals. They had a huge impact on my career. I learned so much during that clinical rotation from those two guys. By chance, I actually had a chance to do it again with them in Cleveland after I finished my graduate program. I actually got to spend the summer with them in Cleveland and continue to learn from them. Lonnie actually gave me a reference for, to get this Red Sox job when I applied for a rookie position. So without those two guys, I wouldn't be here today. And two guys that I still talk to pretty frequently when I have an opportunity to, just to pick their brains and, being a new head athletic trainer, and they've done it for many years, and just learning from them of how to do the position has been very helpful.
And I think anyone that knows Nick and Lonnie, two PBATS board members themselves, know how passionate and dedicated they are. And just, there's never anything that falls through the cracks, and really just their attention to detail and professionalism is off the charts. So obviously two great mentors to learn from. Now, if the roles are reversed a bit, you've been working as an athletic trainer in baseball for a long time now. Like we said, head athletic trainer with the Red Sox, a really important position. I'm wondering what advice you might give to a college student who's looking to get into athletic training in professional baseball.
Yeah, one, I would say, hey, have a passion for working in baseball. It's a very unique sport to work in. So being passionate about it is going to be very helpful in your career. Continue to seek out educational opportunities when you can. And also use the PBATS website. That's really how I found out about the Red Sox rookie position. I was on that site pretty much every day looking for baseball opportunities, and, reading through the profiles of the other athletic trainers in the league and get an understanding of, where they went to school. Any insights that were present in the bios was very helpful. And then just really I don't hate to plug our own program here, but the Red Sox have a assistantship program that we hire for every year, where we hire full-time seasonal athletic trainers for our minor league. So if anyone's looking for opportunities, we have opportunities every season for assistant positions.
Yeah. And speaking of positions like that, when you guys are hiring for those assistantships or interns for the Red Sox, is there a personality trait, an educational component, skill set that you look for in particular as you move through that interview process? I know there's a lot of people who have hands-on experience. A lot of, younger people might be caught up in just learning through textbooks, but what do you guys look for in terms of an assistant or an intern?
Yeah, I'm looking for one that, is interested in learning manual therapy techniques. Look, they don't have to be, the best at it, but they do have to have a want to learn that type of treatment skill. Also look for someone that's got different experiences. If you work football or if you worked in soccer, I think those experiences are very valuable and also like something that we can look forward to learn from them if they've seen different types of injuries. Like, I think that's so helpful.
Yeah, definitely a good way to get in the door. Seems to be have a vast amount of experience and not just so heavy on a textbook or so heavy on a certain sport. So it's always interesting to hear what you guys are looking for when you're making those hires. And getting into a bit more about your staff, one thing that we've noticed across the league and sports is just how quickly athletic training and sports medicine staffs have grown. Back in the day, maybe you'd see a head and an assistant athletic trainer. But now with so many more resources and manpower, especially for you guys in Boston, we're seeing staffs of 5, 6, 7+ members. So I'm wondering what you credit for the growth of those sports medicine staffs in sports.
I think we do have the largest staff in baseball, I do believe. And I think it's helpful. I think it's a credit to our front office and knowing that having a larger staff, you're able to provide more focused treatments for your players. I think you're also able to leverage some of the athletic trainer skills and other parts of the job that need to be done. So I hope that the trend continues, that we have more athletic trainers in the league, so that we have more opportunities for people to get into professional sports and particularly professional baseball.
Yeah, and speaking of the staff and the size, everybody has their different skill sets, different philosophies on athletic training or recovery or rehab. Is there something that you do as the leader of the staff, or Brad as well, that kind of helps balance and those different skills and get them best out of each person on your staff every day?
Yeah, I think you kind of said there at the end. My job is to figure out what our each staff member's strength is and leverage that strength into how we help our players and also support their weaknesses. And like we're all great at something, and being able to like I said, leverage that and support each other's weaknesses. And that's what makes a really good staff, is that we're able to pick up where someone may not be as strong because we have someone else who's strong in that area. And I think it makes a well-rounded team. And I also think it provides educational opportunity as well, where like I've learned a ton from Masai and JJ, who've been around this league for a long time, who have seen, a number of different things. So I think, that is so helpful for me as a head athletic trainer. My job is to support them and, like I said, be able to leverage what their strengths are and support their weaknesses.
And going back a bit to a couple of questions ago, you mentioned Brad Pearson. You've been with the Red Sox for a while now, and he's been a person who's really been leading that staff for seemingly forever. And you called him a walking legend in the city of Boston, which I cannot argue with at all. Such a great career for Brad thus far. He's now the vice president of sports medicine and performance for the Red Sox. I know his impact is definitely felt each and every day from you and your staff members, but can you talk a bit about Brad and, what it's like working with him and getting to learn from him and just his wealth of knowledge from all his experience thus far?
Yeah. Brad's been, he is a legend. He's not only a legend, but he's also a great person. When I first started, he was in AA. So, he was rising through the ranks very quickly. He's very intelligent, cares a lot about, sports medicine and baseball, and particularly baseball in Boston. He's someone that continues to mentor me as I enter this new position, which he held for a long time. Brad is, he has a larger oversight of what, sports medicine is for our department and as an organization, and continues to build that. He challenges us to be, the best athletic trainers, best clinicians that we can be. He's always someone that's looking to get better. And I think, that mindset is felt throughout the rest of our staff, and ways that we can get better and continue to provide top-notch care for our players.
And now that you've taken over that position that Brad held for quite a while, I'm wondering how your job has changed. You were the associate, now the head athletic trainer, but you've spent time in a number of different roles. Now taking this new role with the club, what do you think really separates the role you were in previously to your role as head athletic trainer?
Yeah, so I spent the past 2 years as associate head athletic trainer, just knowing that this was coming down the line. So I think that gave me, a small taste of what would become. And now that I'm in it, it's like drinking from a fire hose, where, you have to manage so many more different things now. And I want to give credit to Brad, is like, he was able to do this for a long time. I'm still, like I said, learning the position, continue to pick his brain from it. But it's a lot more, something that I steal from him is that this is constant gardening. Like, You
Mm-hmm.
have, staff that you have to manage. You have the players that you need to. You have your docs. You have your front office and a coaching staff. So it all takes constant management of how you're going about the day to best prepare our players, and also being able to take care of the staff as well.
And we've heard from a couple of our guests that when they moved in that head athletic trainer role, there was a difference between the hands-on work they're doing with players versus the admin and communicating with front office. Is there something, a skill set, whether it's communication or time management, that really is crucial for someone in the head athletic trainer role in Major League Baseball?
Yeah, I mean, time management is huge. You only have so much time in a day, and how you spend that. Like, I was, an associate or assistant athletic trainer, spent most of my day just treating our athletes. And I want to say, look, that's been, not necessarily cut, but I have other parts of the job that I have to get done in that day as well. So I may not treat as much as I used to, but it's still something that I really enjoy doing, and I don't want to get too far from. But I also recognize that my job is to make sure that everyone has information and that everyone is on the same page. So really focusing, what my admin time is before I even get to the stadium, as far as what is on the horizon or what do we have popping up that day, is very important, and allows me to kind of set my sights on what to tackle each day.
And speaking of that kind of day-to-day, getting to the stadium, getting in the groove of your actual work, a lot of our listeners are, of course, future athletic trainers in baseball, many who would love to be in your position. And I know they want to know eagerly about what you do on a day-to-day basis. So walk us through a bit about, you're at home on a game day. What does that day look like for the Boston Red Sox head athletic trainer?
Yeah, so the first thing we start our day is a meeting with our entire staff, and that includes strength coaches, nutritionists, mental skills coordinator. This is a meeting where we really set the foundation for that series, and we go through each player on the roster and what they need for that day, along with our rehab players as far as where they're at in their progressions. And I think it gives the chance for everyone to speak to what that player needs from their specific departments, and it keeps everyone on the same page. From there, before players even walk through the door, I'm, meeting with the front office or our manager or coaching staff about what players are available or limited, and just updating them on the overall health of our team. And then, our players come in, and then it's go time as far as getting them ready for 7:00. And then after the game, we do a lot of recovery treatment, and then we start the day over in the next day.
And the days you just described, which are definitely a grind, but, all part of it, being a person in your role there, they're a huge part of the team's success overall. The players wouldn't be able to do what they do without you guys and your staff. And a lot of that success has definitely hit the city of Boston over the years. You guys have the 2018 World Series championship, a ton before that, and just a ton of success in a massive baseball market. So do you find that working in a market like Boston with incredibly passionate fans kind of leads to added pressure for the athletic training staff, or is it more support that you feel from the fans in the city that help kind of motivate you and your staff every day?
Yeah, I don't necessarily think it's pressure. I think, we have the desire to, want to be the best clinicians that we can be. The pressure, I don't think there's any pressure. I think from a clinical side, we want to be better than we were the previous year. Mm-hmm. So I think that mindset and that growth mindset that each of us have is what allow us to be successful on the field.
Yeah, definitely. We hear that from a lot of athletic training staffs, is just a growth mindset, working to learn new techniques, get better every day. And it's kind of similar to the athlete themselves. So it's great to hear that, everyone is so passionate about that aspect of athletic training. Well, Brandon, I know you're surrounded by some awesome athletic trainers in Boston, from Brad Pearson, who we talked about, and many others. So at this time, I kind of want to give you a couple minutes to reflect on the group of people in the athletic training room and your sports medicine department that you get to work with every day.
Yeah, I think I've mentioned some of these guys before, but I want to start with Masai Takahashi, who's been in big leagues for a number of years now, someone that I continue to learn from every day. I want to shout out John Yoakum, who's our rehab coordinator as well. John's got a wealth of experience and has done a great job. I want to get to Dave Ferreira, who is first year in the big leagues with us, but someone's been in our Boston Red Sox sports medicine organization for a long time. We kind of came up together, so very excited for him to be in the big leagues this year. Anthony Sarandolo, who's been on our staff for a couple years now, brings a wealth of experience from his time as head athletic trainer with Holy Cross. Even our physical therapist, Jamie Krebs, who I believe is a walking encyclopedia. The man, if I have a question about something obscure, he is definitely the man to go see about that. So a big shout out to him. He's also our clinical director as well, who's putting together educational material for not only us in the big leagues, but for our entire sports medicine staff, minor leagues as well. I want to shout out even our massage therapists, Bruce Nua, who's a legend as well, and Shinichiro Uchikubo, who's a massage therapist, also has done a great job with us for us the past couple of years. We can't do it without those guys, and really appreciate their hard work.
Yeah, definitely have one of the most talented staffs across the league, and amazing to see some of the great work that you, Brad, and the rest of the crew are doing over there. Well, Brandon, it's been great talking to you today. To wrap up today's episode, we're going to finish with a quick Q&A segment that we call Extra Bases. So I'll ask you 4 quick questions and kind of let you share some insight about your favorite things about athletic training in baseball. So we will kick it off at first base. What is your favorite athletic training room to work in outside of your home training room in Boston?
That's a cool question. I have to say Texas. Obviously, it's a new stadium. The training room is, right next to the weight room. It has glass where you can look straight through. So I think that connection to the weight room and training room is very important, and not many athletic training rooms have that. So I have to say Texas.
That's the first Texas answer you've had on the show. So good to hear that the new training room down there is great to work in. Going to second base now, and you might be biased. This is, Boston and Fenway is probably the most historical stadium in the league, maybe outside of Wrigley. But what's your favorite big league stadium to watch a game in from the dugout?
Yeah, if I can't say Fenway, I'd probably say maybe Atlanta. I like the energy of that stadium. Obviously, the clubhouse is new as well. Very spacious dugout. A lot of energy there. So, yeah, I like watching a game in Atlanta.
Awesome. And moving on to third base now, you obviously live in such an awesome city in Boston. But when you're on the road, what's your favorite city to visit?
Oh, man, San Diego. I think you can't beat San Diego with the beach, the weather, the food. Great place.
Yeah, not surprising that that's been a very, very popular answer from your colleagues across the league. As when it's going to be 65 and sunny every day, it's a pretty great place. So moving on to home plate, the final question of the day. Always interested to hear people's takes on this one. So when you broke into the game, you got to the big leagues. Did you have a welcome to the big leagues moment somewhere along the line of your first year with the major league club?
Yeah, I want to say there were 2 moments. One was opening day. Obviously, we're coming off my first year was 2019. So season was coming off of the World Series in 2018 and seeing the ring ceremony and the crowd, and it was like, wow, I finally made it here. That was a very special moment for me. And then the next one was we played in London that year. So I think the first time, baseball's been played in London, and, great experience. Everything's, first class, and, very big league experience. It was special. So those were the 2 moments, opening day and then playing in London.
Definitely very important moments in your career. Opening day for everybody has to be amazing their first time out there. So definitely cool to hear that from you as well. Well, Brandon, thanks so much for joining the show. Really, really appreciate your time, your dedication to PBATS and the profession of athletic training. And we want to wish you, Brad, and the rest of the guys in Boston nothing but the best luck the rest of the way.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
And that wraps up this episode. Thank you for listening to Inside Athletic Training, a podcast from the Professional Baseball Athletic Trainers Society, a show for athletic training students, educators, and professionals who want to learn more about life as an athletic trainer in major and minor league baseball. If you've enjoyed the show, head over to pbats.com to gain access to other free resources. And don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review wherever you get your podcasts. Until next time, thanks again for listening.